What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ben the Jeep Guy. Today's episode is not going to be an install. We're not going to do anything with that. Today we're going to talk about some recent events in the Jeep community and in the aftermarket industry, and also in the automotive industry. I'm a little late to the game, and I know that, but I wanted to take the time to talk about the Bronco and the potential of a V8 Wrangler. So we're going to first start talking about the Bronco. Now, I am a Jeep enthusiast through and through. I love Jeeps. I've had my XJ for 18 years now. It's just, I love Jeeps. Now, a lot of people, a lot of Jeepers got real defensive when the Bronco came out, because it's going to be a direct competitor with the Jeep Wrangler. So a lot of Jeepers out there got real defensive, like, oh, it's not gonna hold up, da 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 da, and it may or may not. We'll see. Time will tell. But I'm excited about the Bronco. I really am. Does that mean? Sorry, I gotta adjust that real quick. Does that mean that I'm switching? I'm giving up Jeep and I'm going to Ford? Heck no! I'm not going anywhere from Jeep. Jeep's got me. I'm hooked for life. But what do I think of the Bronco? Like, do I think that it has a place? Absolutely. The one thing that's really frustrated me with Jeep for several years is the fact that they just don't have any reason to be that innovative. They've enjoyed a very comfortable monopoly when it comes to the Wrangler and the type of vehicle that is. So they really don't have a reason to do any better each year, except for to do a little bit better than they've already done. But now we have the Bronco, and the Bronco is a really great competitor to the Jeep. In fact, it's the only competitor to the Jeep right now. Toyota's tried to sell the 4Runner as a competitor, and there's been other vehicles out there that have tried to be competitors with the Wrangler, and they're just not. None of them have been. That's why some of them have flopped, like the FJ Cruiser, complete and total flop. The 4Runner, it's a nice vehicle. I'm not saying that it's not a nice vehicle, but it's built differently than the Wrangler. So I've explained this to a few people that I've talked to about it. When it comes to most vehicles, most trucks and SUVs on the market, they're all designed for the road, and then they're given equipment to make them more capable off-road. So the design purpose, when the designers went in, was to design something that did well on-road, and then they were given off-road equipment so that they would be more capable off-road. The Wrangler, completely different starting point. They are designed to go off-road, and then they're made comfortable on-road. Completely different point. And that's what I believe the designers had in mind when they designed the Bronco. They designed an off-road vehicle that was capable on-road too, and comfortable. So I think, and the fact that the doors come off and the top comes off, I mean, they took a bunch of plays out of the Wrangler playbook. They took notes of what worked for the Wrangler, and they put that into the Bronco. And I think that they did a great job. I mean, they got lockers in these things. You got electronic unlocking sway bars. I mean, they've got a lot of similar features to the Wrangler. Is it a copycat? Partially, but that's okay. I like that, because now we're going to get some real competition and real innovation from Jeep. They're going to have to be more price competitive. They're going to have to be more feature competitive. And that's going to lead me into the next thing, because the Bronco has a twin turbo V6. You know, Ford, they love their EcoBoost V6s. And so with that being said, they have an EcoBoost V6 option in the Bronco, and it's going to get great fuel mileage and has excellent power. Is it what I would particularly buy? Not really, but they have the power numbers to give them bragging rights. The 3.6 liter Pentastar engine that comes in the Wrangler, it's okay. You know, it's not the best engine in the whole wide world. It's not the worst engine in the whole wide world. Power's not bad out of it, but the problem I have with that engine and a lot of modern engines is where they will boast a lot of power, but the power is at the top of the RPM range and not where a Jeep uses its power. A Jeep uses its power on the low end. That's why people love the straight six that comes in the older Jeeps, the Jeep 4.0 straight six that everybody loved for years and years and years. Those straight sixes made their power down low, like a V8 does. And that's where you need your power in a truck and an SUV. You need that low end power, that torque right off the line. You need that power down there. So with the 3.6, it doesn't make its power there. It makes its power up higher, where a Jeep's just not going to use it very often. So what happens with the Jeeps is they end up having to floor it everywhere in order to get decent power. It's not a bad engine. When they started putting the 3.6 in the JKs, it replaced the 3.8, and the 3.8 was awful. So the 3.6 was quite an improvement, but it's still not a very powerful engine, or at least it doesn't feel powerful because the power is not where it needs to be in the RPM range. So on the day they dropped the Bronco, they finally revealed it. What did we see from Jeep to kind of steal a little thunder? They teased us with a concept V8 Wrangler, a concept 6.4 liter equipped V8 Wrangler. Now, when they revealed it, it just looked like a regular old Rubicon, had a different set of wheels on it, but it had a distinct hood, something that we haven't seen on any other model of Wrangler thus far, which is fine. Jeep's known for doing concept vehicles. That's what they do. They do all kinds of weird concept and wild concept vehicles, but we usually see those right before Easter Jeep Safari, and and when we see that from Jeep, when they do that, we really don't see any of the cool features or designs that go into those Jeeps end up in production vehicles. It has happened, like a minor feature here and there, a minor design here and there, but for the most part, those concept Jeeps are just simply to get the buzz and keep the Jeep name in everybody's mouth. You know, that's all that typically is for. But it's not to say that, like I said before, some things can find their way into production vehicles. But what made this concept vehicle a little strange was the timing. Now, they timed it to steal a little thunder from Bronco and from Ford on the day that they revealed the new Bronco, which is fine because Jeep knew that was going to be a direct competitor. But one thing that we've started to see is we've seen Jeeps that look like the concept one, doesn't have the 392 badge on it, but it does have that distinct hood. But we've seen multiple photos from people who've spotted this Jeep out and about. We've seen it in Florida, we've seen it in Michigan, I believe that we saw it out west somewhere, and the timing of these photos meant that there were multiple Jeeps like that one out there. Now, why would Jeep take a concept and make multiple of the same concept vehicle and have it running around? Now, again, none of these Jeeps have the 392 badge on it. It looks like another run-of-the-mill Wrangler, except for it has that same distinct hood. There's a good chance that we are actually going to get a V8 Wrangler. I mean, the equipment for equipment, there's not a whole lot of difference between the Bronco and the Wrangler, you know, especially when you get the Rubicon. So what is going to be the big key difference that Jeep's going to really try to pull people back in? That V8. Now, we've seen Chrysler stuff Hellcat engines into everything, and I love it. but they do not have forced induction V6s like Ford does. They haven't shown any indication that they're going to do anything like that. They do have a couple of turbocharged 4-cylinders, which they actually put one of them in the Wrangler, and they're not bad engines. You know, they make pretty good power. They're real zippy. They get pretty good fuel mileage, so time will tell on how much they hold up in a Jeep when it comes to off-roading. But at least they're not anemic like the old 4-cylinders and the YJs and the TJs back in the day. They couldn't get out of their own way. So, and they got the same bad fuel mileage as the straight 6 did. So we're going to see how that holds up. But when it comes to the V8, they already have an excellent selection of V8s. They got the 5.7 Hemi, they got the 6.4 Hemi, they got the 6.2 supercharged Hellcat engine. So we're going to see a V8 in this Wrangler. Do I think that we're going to see a Hellcat engine? Maybe a little further down the road, maybe. But I don't particularly see that happening. The 6.4, I do see happening because I think they're already out there testing it. My concern, so this is my concern, is that every time they stuff the 6.4 into something, it wasn't until recently that they started putting a more towing-oriented 6.4 liter V8 in the 2500 and the 3500 Rams. But prior to that, the 6.4 liter was a performance engine. So there was an SRT performance engine. It went into performance-based platforms. So the SRT Challengers, the SRT Chargers, the SRT Durango now, the SRT Grand Cherokees. That's where we saw the 6.4 liter end up, and it usually had a hefty price tag because it was a performance-oriented model. Now, the 5.7 Hemi, I mean, you'll find it in the RT Chargers and Challengers, and it's in the RT version of the Durango, and they stuff it into everything big body they possibly can, and it's a good engine. It makes pretty good power. Fuel mileage isn't bad for what it is, and it's a great engine. They also don't price it as a performance engine. I'm concerned with the 6.4 liter being the choice of engine for a Wrangler, is that it'll price itself above a twin turbo V6 Bronco. To me, if it's even $10,000 more expensive than a loaded up twin turbo V6 Bronco, that's not competitive. It's just not. If you're not gonna be close in price for the same kind of power as the Bronco, that's not being competitive. I'm concerned that if they stuff a 6.4 liter into a Wrangler, that it's going to be an $80,000, $85,000 vehicle. Well, a loaded up Bronco is still only around $65,000. That's not competitive. That's not even competitive at all. And very few people are going to drop $80,000, $85,000 on a V8 equipped Wrangler. Just not going to happen. I would never buy an $80,000 to $85,000 Wrangler. I just wouldn't. So that's what concerns me about the 6.4 liter. What I think Chrysler should have done, which I think would have been a better path for them, would be to put the 5.7 Hemi in these Wranglers. And also it would be a great addition for the Gladiator, and I'll talk about that in a second too. But the 5.7 Hemi is not marketed or priced as a performance engine. They also make way more of those, which means that they can sell them better, and they can price a V8 equipped Wrangler much better with the 5.7 Hemi. Now the 5.7 Hemi and the 6.4 Hemi are very close in relation to each other as far as their platforms. There's not a whole lot different, other than a few things that change the displacement. So I think it would be a better path for Chrysler to take the 5.7 Hemi, tweak it a little bit, push it over that 400 horsepower mark, And then subsequently, it's time to see the 6.4 go over the 500 horsepower mark. And it won't hurt their Hellcat sales, because those Hellcat engines put out a ton of power. Pushing the 6.4 liter over 500 is not going to hurt those Hellcat sales. So I think that what Chrysler really needs to do is it's time to put some attention to the 5.7 Hemi and the 6.4 Hemi, get their power levels up, but drop the 5.7 Hemi in the Wrangler, in the Gladiator, because I think that they will be able to price that better, and I think that they will be able to sell that better, and I think that that will be more competitive with a twin turbo Bronco with using the 5.7 Hemi instead of the 6.4. I think that's a better pathway, because the 5.7 Hemi, it's been proven, it's been around for a long time, it's a great engine. And I think that it would really do Chrysler a whole lot better. And I maybe still offer a 6.4 liter option and give us that $80,000-$85,000 Wrangler for those that want it. For those that do have deep pockets and money's not really an object, that just wants that. I think that that should still be out there. But the 5.7 is going to be something that's more achievable to the average, everyday Jeep buyer. I really think that that's a better pathway. And since they already put the 5.7 Hemi in the Ram trucks, we know that it's a great workhorse engine. That engine belongs in the Gladiator. It needs to be in the Gladiator. The Gladiator is an excellent, excellent truck. And it needs to have a little bit beefier brakes and a more powerful engine, and it can be quite the little tow monster. I mean, we've already seen GM do incredible things with the Colorado and the Canyon. Those things, when properly equipped with the right engine, can tow quite a bit of weight. And while the Gladiator is an excellent tow vehicle, it's not an excellent tow vehicle with the 3.6. While it boasts a pretty heavy towing capacity, everybody who's tried to load that thing up with that much weight, while it can pull it, it doesn't pull it well. And it has more to do with power than anything else. That V6 struggles. It doesn't, the last three gears, 6, 7, and 8th gear really don't exist when you're towing with the 3.6. And it gets horrible fuel mileage while trying to tow, which we all know that gasoline engines, when you put some weight behind them, you try to tow with them, fuel mileage suffers, and we expect that. But it's really bad, like really bad, like 8 miles to the gallon bad. So I think that the V8 Wrangler and the V8 Gladiator with the 5.7 is an excellent, excellent platform and an excellent route that Chrysler should take. So FCA, if you're listening, do the 5.7. Seriously, do the 5.7. I think that you're going to have way more potential sales with the 5.7 with the way you can price it versus the 6.4. I think the 6.4 is cool, but it's going to only speak to a very small percentage of buyers. The 5.7, because I know that FCA can price it better, that's going to be a better path. I really, really think that that's going to be a better path. So that's it for today, guys. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear comments from you guys. So tell me what you think. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Bronco? What do you think about potentially a V8 Wrangler and possibly a V8 Gladiator subsequently? I'm really waiting for the diesel engine to finally hit the lot to test drive one of those, and they've released everything about a diesel Gladiator except for towing capacity. So that's the one thing that I'm really wanting to see about, because I swear, if they put a diesel engine in the Gladiator and it loses towing capacity like it did in the Ram, why on earth would anybody pay a premium for a diesel engine in a truck? I mean, come on. Diesel engines are supposed to tow more. Do not put that diesel in that Gladiator and rate it for less towing capacity. That's stupid. Nobody's gonna pay a premium just for better gas mileage in a truck. Not gonna happen. We've already seen it. They tried to do that with the Ram, and it flopped big time. It was a crappy engine. It failed, and nobody was happy with it just getting better fuel mileage. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching yet another video from me. Give me a thumbs up if you like today's discussion. Give me a thumbs down so I know that I need to do better. And please, please, please hit me in the comment section below. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, hey, go watch some of my other ones. You might find some of that informative. But please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Every new subscriber is help supporting me making this a better and a more often thing with more videos. So I apologize, I'm driving right now, so I'm not doing best of my words here, but thank you guys, I appreciate it. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. Also, check the About Me section on the channel, and you'll see all of my other social medias. I got a Facebook page, got Instagram, you know, so make sure you guys get in touch with all that. I also have a direct email listed, so if you guys have questions, you want to have some conversations with me, if you need any advice or have questions, you're welcome to email me. That's fine, or hit me in the private messages on Facebook or direct messages on Instagram. So anyways, thanks again, guys. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, keep Jeeping.